feel shut out and marginalized.
If Xi Jinping cashiers his closest friend, what does he get for that from the U.S.? The entire U.S. full-court press remains in place. There's no reciprocation for any potential abandonment of Putin.
Xi Jinping and Vladimir Putin loom over geopolitics in a way that few leaders have in decades. Not even Mao and Stalin drove global events the way Xi and Putin do today. And so understanding what drives these two men, how they view the world, what they want, is as important as any question in foreign policy and international affairs. To that end, I talked to two of the absolute best scholars who study these countries and their histories, the great Russia scholar Stephen Kotkin and the great China scholar Orville Schell. So we're recording this the day after Xi Jinping turned 70, but since Vladimir Putin has already wished his dear friend health and happiness, we can move past that occasion and get right to the substance of the topic today. Steve is the ultimate biographer of Stalin. You're completing your third volume of a magnificent and transfixing biography of the man, and Orville is the author of more books than I can rattle off here on China, past and present. But you're also both among the most trenchant and eloquent observers of these two contemporary figures and their effect on the world. So we really could have no better pair to make sense of Xi Jinping and Vladimir Putin and their commonalities and differences and their relationship and what it all means. But I want to start by tracing the arc of American and Western understanding of the two figures. When you go back and look at profiles and speeches and memos from officials on both of them from their early years in power, you see this kind of powerful impulse among Americans especially to view both Xi and Putin as moderate, as modernizers, as Western-oriented, certainly as leaders we could basically get along with and who would by and large move their societies in a direction that seemed roughly aligned with our interests and our values. So Orville, let's start with you. What was the early impression of Xi Jinping? What did it miss and how did it start to change as you reflect over the last 10 years or so of our interactions with him?
When Xi Jinping came to power, he was not somebody with whom we were tremendously familiar. We knew more about his father, and we rather blithely, and I think quite naively, assumed that because his father had undergone a lot of persecution and sort of political travails, that this might have rubbed off on his son in a way that would have made him somewhat jaundiced about the old one-party Leninist state and the whole revolution. And I remember writing a book concluding just as he was coming to office and cautiously wondering if he might not turn into a reformer. Well, he did not. So now we're left to try to figure out who exactly is he? And this is why I really welcome chatting with you, Steve, here, because I think, in any leader, there's history, there's ideology, and then there's the man. And all of those ingredients have to be factored into any kind of a sort of understanding of what drives them. And I can't think of a leader in Chinese history who is more opaque in this regard than Xi Jinping is, particularly the latter part.